Just out of curiosity, what books are you reading?
Currently, I'm reading quite a few at the same time. One great book is The Secret Life of Trees.
Huh.
It's written by a guy who is a forest officer and I think a botanist also, obviously, and a lot of new research on how trees work
Hmm.
together as a community in the forest.
It's
And
supposed to be very socialist, apparently.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is very profound in the fact that he never claims anything spiritual about it or no anything poetic about it. But it does sound poetic because that is what it is. There is no consciousness there maybe, but the way they work together and how sensitive they are to the environment and how important forests are from a lot of different perspectives. Like most of the forests which you see now are not forests, they are plantations.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
There's
are
a big difference.
yeah, they're just 10, 20, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And if you get a greenery, you know, निसर्ग.
Yeah.
So ऐसा untouched forest बहुत कम है पूरा दुनिया में. Even Europe is not there. Some in Canada maybe, I think some in Scandinavia, but those are like sparse tundra forests. So they say the older a forest becomes, the richer it becomes in terms of the diversity and the तो वो तो हमने गांड मार ही दिया ऑलरेडी. अभी जो बचा है 20-30 साल पुराना झाड़ उसको भी काट रहा है हम लोग मेट्रो का शेड डालने के लिए. तो साउथ में जैसे बहुत सारा कॉफ़ी प्लांटेशन है एंड दे लुक नाइस एंड वट एवर ग्रीन बट दैट्स ऑल्सो प्लांटेशन.
Yeah.
सो बट वी
And it leaches away also, no? If it's a plantation, it leaches away from that
it
land,
takes
from
more
that soil.
it takes more water than a natural body would. It is less diverse and then you're using obviously fertilizer, pesticide. और अभी नया पेस्ट ये है कि ट्रैवल ब्लॉगर भी आता है वहाँ पे अपना कंटेंट बनाने के लिए.
उधर तो कीड़ा नहीं रह सकता है.
But we still claim that our coffee plantations are more diverse than other because they rotate with fruit trees वगैरह. थोड़ा birds दिख जाता है वहाँ पे. It's still nothing compared to what a real forest would have been. So it's very revealing, the book.
The birds over there in the forest are saying we live in a simulation.
This is not based reality. That's one book. Just started Fear by Osho. That's another one. And Collapse by Jared Diamond. So it's about how civilizations collapse.
Yeah.
It's topic close to my heart. Talks about everything from Easter Island to the current, and you realize that the biggest empires are not gone beyond a couple of 100 years,
Yeah.
right? And हम लोग इतना चौड़ में बैठा है यहाँ पे कि है democracy ये वो.
Yeah, up until a few years ago, we used to say this is the most peaceful time
Yeah.
in the world.
Oh, which by the way is a huge. It has been debunked.
Yeah.
So there was this book called "Better Angels of Our Nature," written by Pinker, Steven Pinker. Yeah, and in which he claimed statistically that this is the most peaceful time. And how he did it was he took the base rate of crime across history. अभी स्टैटिस्टिक्स तो है नहीं, यूएस में होगा स्टैटिस्टिक्स, यहाँ पे तो बाकी तो है नहीं, पर कुछ तो उसने लगाया जुगाड़. तो बोलता है कि यू गो बैक टू द मोस्ट ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज, राइट, हु हैव नो कांटेक्ट विद द मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड टू द पॉइंट दैट प्लास्टिक का बॉटल भी नहीं देखा वो लोग कभी भी. ऐसा कुछ है डीप इन अफ्रीका एंड डीप इन साउथ अमेरिका, अमेजोन में कुछ ऐसा ट्राइब्स है. इफ यू लुक एट दोज ट्राइब्स, 1 out of 2 men die a violent death because of conflict within the tribe or the family or whatever. So that is the base crime rate is 50%. It's a very simplistic way. Yeah. तो बोलता है ये 50 था इधर, अभी का crime rate देखो कितना कम हो गया. Then he counts the number of people who died violent deaths decade on decade in this century also. And despite there being 2 major world wars, it is still and this is still the most peaceful century of the entire whatever recorded history. And then people pointed out, भाई so many genocides आप गिना ही नहीं, तो किधर गया? वियतनाम वॉर आया ही नहीं, वो किधर गया? वो नहीं हुआ था क्या?
वो तो बहुत बड़ा अपन टाइम लिया उसके साथ actually. It wasn't a small blip like, you know.
So Chomsky ripped him apart, and Pinker is a popular author, but his base of power comes from also looking like an intellectual, no?
True.
Yeah.
So then it turns out that he's like he's a Democrat at a propaganda level.
Wow, yeah.
Oh.
He is an अच्छे दिन consultant.
Yeah, so I think, or maybe you're Democrat that time because Obama, but because they are like
है तो सही.
it's seasonal.
हाँ.
So
है तो सही.
so
ये
he,
term 2024 कोई और मगर अभी तो है.
so then he followed up very quickly within a few months with the second book to cover up for the mess of this book, and that book is called Enlightenment Now.
Okay.
So and so when he says that enlightenment doesn't mean the Buddha wala, no? Because it's typical Westerner कि हम खड़े वहाँ से लाइन शुरू होता है. So he means the Renaissance wala enlightenment, no, where all the arts flourished, no, that era, and that was the height of Western culture,
Yeah.
and the values that we swear by today come from there. So that is what we should look back upon. And he has this theory that if you take jumps of 400-500 years or a millennia at a time, the calorie intake of man improves.
Okay.
Because farming came in, then animal husbandry came in, then factory came in. So every time there is this huge jump in calorie intake, humanity at an aggregate level produces a profit.
Oh.
Okay.
ऐसा.
Oh.
तो ऐसा बुद्धा आया,
हाँ.
फिर जीसस आया, फिर सीजन 3 में जो भी मोहम्मद
It gives birth to that moment in history.
at an aggregate level, because we have advanced as a civilization
Yeah.
to the point that at least one of us sees the light, and then we sell keychains on his name.
Messiah
So
upgrade.
yeah,
That is what it is.
it just sounds so esoteric, you know, and this is just all so much retrofitting, you know.
Yeah.
It's so much retrofitting, and
You need layers of distraction, no man. That's what they are creating. Like you just need, because otherwise it's a bit crazy, dude. It's not easy to.
And it's you want to believe in all these shit theories because you're like, you know what, the world doesn't make sense. It's so much chaos. No, I feel overwhelmed. But yeah, if you look at it statistically, this is the safest of times.
Yeah.
There's a
Makes me feel better today.
there's a great
It helps me forget that इधर ही
There's
public
some-
चोरी वोरी करता है, मारामारी होता है. It makes you forget that a bit.
there's a great quote that says if you torture statistics enough, it will confess to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Because that is what numbers do to a man. They break you down.
There is this great mockumentary on BBC called Carnage, and it's about the future in which vegetarians and vegans take over the whole world, right? And there are all these activists who are having fights for, like not killing animals and all. And finally, there's a crescendo in a TV debate, which is a turning point for the movement, where they are fighting vegetarians and non-vegetarians. This guy is like, no, you vegetarians do this, you do that. He said, I'm not a vegetarian, you are a carnist. So he coins a new term out of thin air, and the term sounds so evil.
And now you are an evil fuck.
Yeah.
You are a horrible person.
So
now.
it just turns it on his head that I am the normal person, you are the abnormal.
That already exists, no? The term non-vegetarian makes no sense.
Yeah.
There is kanda in chicken kolhapuri.
Yeah.
Your dish does not have chicken.
So carnage makes complete sense that way. So then ऐसा एक लहर लौट जाती है पूरे दुनिया में, and then all of meat and everything is outlawed, and then they are living in this post-apocalyptic wonderland, where people are holding hands and dancing, and now they have therapy sessions, group sessions for people who used to eat non-veg and they now feel guilty.
मैं chicken lollipop खाया. Imagine a meeting जैसा you're telling.
He said, it's okay, you were 8 at that time, you did not know any better, and then the lady is crying. Then it's a group therapy session, like an Alcoholics Anonymous kind of a session
exactly.
in a church on a Sunday afternoon.
You're confessing to a sin.
You just read a menu card and you're like, I feel bad क्योंकि मेरा लाल टपक रहा है.
And they said, today we will simply say out the name of our favorite cheese. So they all are crying mozzarella, और फिर वो रो रहा है. So it's
Very well written on BBC.
BBC. So I mean, obviously YouTube पे आप देख लेना, किसी ने डाला होगा illegal. तो
अरे अंग्रेजों से ही तो चला रहा है.